Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Over the last 2 days, we brought together the New England states and the Eastern Canadian provinces, businesses and industry leaders, strategic thinkers, utilities and universities, and other partners from across the region. And I think we've been reminded just how connected and how important this region is. We've talked about energy and infrastructure, advanced manufacturing and technology, supply chains, cybersecurity, workforce, and the challenges facing both of our countries. But the most important message from this meeting is pretty simple. Our relationship matters. Our economies are connected. Our energy systems and supply chains are connected. Our communities are connected. And at a time of uncertainty and strain in the relationship between our two countries, governors and premiers have a very important role to play in keeping those connections strong. Over the last 2 days, we've demonstrated that we can work together, regardless of politics or disagreements at the national level. We can identify opportunities that benefit our people. We can strengthen the systems and industries our countries depend on. And we can make sure the relationships that have connected this region for generations remain strong. As I said earlier, our relationships are our most critical infrastructure. We know each other, we trust each other, and we're going to keep working together to keep this region strong and resilient. I'm grateful for Premier Lance and all our heads of delegation for coming to Vermont, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished here. There's more work ahead, and we're committed to doing it. So with that, I'll turn it over to our co-chair, Premier Rob Lance. Rob.
Thank you, Governor Scott, and thank you, Vermont, for hosting such a positive and productive few days here. Throughout our discussions, we've focused on the issues that matter most to the people that we represent. This conference has been bringing New England governors and Eastern Canadian premiers together for almost more than 50 years, in fact, now. And I would argue those relationships are more important today than ever before. Across our region, businesses are navigating uncertainty, families are feeling the pressure of higher costs, and governments are focused on strengthening economic security while creating the conditions for businesses to grow and invest. That's why partnerships like this matter. The relationships we've built over decades allow us to work together, learn from one another, find practical solutions to shared challenges. Today we've talked about everything from energy and economic development to regional resilience and creating new opportunities for businesses and workers across our region. Those conversations don't end when we leave Vermont. They continue through the work we do together over the months ahead, and I'm confident they'll help strengthen our region for the future. I'm looking forward to welcoming everyone to Prince Edward Island next summer as we host the 2027 New England Governors and Eastern Canadian Premiers Conference. It will be an opportunity to continue the important conversations, strengthen the partnerships that have served our region so well, and showcase everything Prince Edward Island has to offer. I really appreciate the hospitality we've shown here. Looking forward to returning the compliment. Thank you very much.
We'll now open up to questions. You may have a question or two for some of our friends here from the north and from the south.
Are there any specific new initiatives coming out of the conversations from this weekend that you're looking ahead to now?
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed a lot of different things. I think it was a good conversation, very honest and open, and it really goes back to reestablishing the relationships, making sure that everyone here knows we're still friends. We have some issues we have to work through, a lot of them caused by our federal government, but we're going to work through this. We're going to get back to where we were, and I think again, if there's anything, it's brought us closer together this weekend and all the things we've done and all the things we've discussed. But we do have some strategic goals that we have been working on for a couple of years. We're going to continue to work on those. But really, it is to send the message back to both Washington and to Ottawa that this region matters. This relationship matters, and we want to protect it. And we need to make sure that we don't forget how important it is for the northeast of the U.S. and the eastern part of Canada.
Specifically in the area of energy cooperation, what were the major topics of discussion? And again, were there any new agreements or initiatives?
Yeah, again, we've been talking about, we all are recognizing the fact that we have more demand for electricity in particular. So we talked a lot about that, how we can accomplish that. I know some of the provinces are working on initiatives in their own provinces. So we're all ears. We're going to continue again to work together on this and find out what the opportunities are for all of us, Vermont in particular, but other, from my perspective, but there's other states that are with us on this. We have ISO New England, who is here today as well, and other partners throughout the region. And I think it was just in Hydro-Quebec and others. It was just a great conversation to have. And I think that we don't have to compete against each other. There's enough demand, so we need to figure out how do we accomplish what we think we need and what we can do when we work together. Feel free, anybody else want to, please?
I would say from our perspective, I'm Christopher Skeet from Quebec. I would say from our perspective, I think the energy file is a testament to the success that we've had in cooperation and collaborating. And I just want to reiterate that Quebec wants to be a partner and will continue to be a reliable partner for our American friends in matters of energy. And I think the way forward is building more resilience together and more interconnectivity. And so this forum today gave us the opportunity to talk about more of that and how we can deepen that relationship and make it more fruitful as we go on to rise to the challenges that a new and changing world. Thank you.
Governor Scott, you recently sent a letter to Secretary Lutnick decrying the Canadian tariffs by the Trump administration. First of all, have you gotten any sort of response from the Trump administration on that letter? Second of all, to what extent were tariffs a part of the conversation this weekend?
We touched on tariffs, not specifically, but we talked about all that's being said and done in terms of fracturing us and our relationship. So we had good conversations about that. I have not received anything back from the government, from Secretary Lutz in particular, but looking forward to it.
I wonder if the premiers and tenants could weigh in on the Trump administration's proposed tariffs that are slated to take effect soon, and what they're hoping to see from the ongoing negotiations between the two countries.
Let me say first that Canadians generally would agree that we're very fortunate to be neighbors of the United States, and that we benefit from proximity, but also our shared values, culture, history, and we have all benefited from that relationship for many generations. I would also say that this is a two-way street, that the United States, economic prosperity of the United States and security of the United States is dependent on that free, open relationship with Canada. And almost $1 trillion of bilateral trade happens every year, $2.5 billion a day. And that is now constrained. And it's under the threat, that constraint is under threat of becoming worse on August 19th if that deadline is, if a deal is not reached by that deadline. And so yes, there's anxiety on our side of the border, but our federal counterparts are in Washington regularly working hard on a comprehensive deal that would open that border we would all benefit. We've heard that very loud and clear here today, that we would all benefit from more free, fair, tariff-free trade. We talked a lot here over the last couple of days about strengthening supply chain integration. And we're in fact doing the opposite with the constraints at the border. So I've heard a willingness from everyone I've spoken here in Vermont to get back to tariff-free trade because it benefits both of our countries immensely. And I have hope from what I've heard from my colleagues here, and we'll see where we are on August 19th. But I think it's very important for both of our countries, and we want to continue that strong economic relationship that we've benefited from for generations.
I'll just add on that, just so I can, sorry, yeah, no worries. I guess I would sum it up as friendship's good, tariffs bad, basically. I mean, these are long-standing friendships and relationships, and the commercial trade between our two countries is so important to both of us. So we're hopeful there's some resolution, and there's lots of work happening on that. And I do want to give a shout out. The governor has been such a good friend to Eastern Canada for sure, but Canada as a country, I really appreciate that. I'm a big fan of his, not just because he's a race car driver, but also Governor Healy, Governor Mills. They've been like, this whole area has been so supportive of us as we work through this challenge. But I do think we will get through it. There has to be a resolution. And then we have to live with that for the long term. So there's economic impacts, as the Senator was saying this morning, economic impacts, but also emotional impacts. This has been a difficult time for our relationship, but we'll get through it because we have to. But what we're living through right now, with the tariffs, with the threat of tariffs, with some of the insults and talking points, that they're difficult. Like there's just no way around that. They're very difficult, and but the relationship will survive that, as we saw over the last couple of days, and as we see from our ongoing relationship on day-to-day issues that really matter to the people we represent. So,
you mentioned insults. I wonder if either the premiers would care to address the president's use of the term nasty in relation to the Canadian leadership. Would either of you have anything to say on that?
I don't think we're nasty. Does anybody think we're nasty? I don't think we're nasty.
I sure haven't seen that this weekend.
Communication while you were there, I believe the province of Nova Scotia has initiated now a procurement for 5 gigawatts of offshore wind energy, and that Massachusetts has signed an initial memorandum of understanding. Will the other New England states also have an opportunity to procure some of the power from that new generation?
Look, I hope so. Thank you for that. Obviously, Nova Scotia is very focused on developing our energy potential. We have incredible potential in the offshore of Nova Scotia, and offshore wind, massive potential there. We're also kind of returning to the oil and gas sector as well. But the wind opportunity that we have, the wind, we call it Wind West, is a project, is massive, massive potential. Just for order of magnitude, in the fullness of time, over a number of phases, we believe we could develop almost 60 gigawatts of offshore wind. So just for perspective, Nova Scotia at peak uses 2. I think Vermont is 1 at peak, right? So this is a massive undertaking, and fully developed, that could actually power almost a quarter of Canada's energy needs. So it's a big resource with lots of potential. But of course, when you develop 60 gigawatts and you only use 2, you have to have markets. So we're looking for partners. We'll have extensive discussions with Quebec, also Ontario, other parts of Canada, as the energy. Our Prime Minister has said that energy demand in Canada will double over the next, not that long of a period of time, right? So energy demands are increasing very significantly, and every region is looking to figure out how they will meet that demand with new supply. And Nova Scotia, we feel very optimistic and positive that we can be that good, stable partner who can meet some of the supply, not in Nova Scotia only, not only in Canada, but also, and certainly New England would be that's a good partnership and relationship that existed for a long time, and we think expanding our energy supply to the area is just a natural progression of that. So we're excited about the opportunity we have. We've had discussions with everyone about it. Everybody's in the same boat and have the same frame of mind on this, and so it's a great opportunity for all of us.
Given time constraints, we have time for one more question, and happy to connect you with any press folks after.
I know that a lot of the conversation politically in Canada over the last few days has been about, concessions in terms of the tariff negotiations. I'm wondering if any of the Canadian representatives could speak to if you feel like you have a red line of, we should concede this, we should not concede this. What's the line that your governments regionally see?
Well, I think from the Quebec perspective, and of course, I would invite you to reach out to our federal trade representatives who certainly will have an answer for you as well. I would say right now what I'm perceiving is the United States has a desire to change the trade relationship. And so I would suggest that the ask should come from the United States so that we better understand where it is that the United States wants to go. I think most Canadians would agree that we're eager to get to where we're going so that we can focus on what's really important for our populations. Our populations want housing. Right now, there's a 45% tariff on softwood lumber. This impedes our ability to offer the United States with cheaper housing. We want lower priced cars. There's a 50% tariff on aluminum. That directly impacts car manufacturing in North Carolina. And so these are things that are actually causing an increase in price. And so we're eager to find out where we're going so that we can move on to important things that our citizens want.
There's been some reporting recently that the provincial bans on U.S. alcohol sales might be part of this current round of negotiations, and that those bans might be dropped. But of course, that's a provincial decision. So I'm wondering if the premiers could address what is it that your provinces would need to see specifically in order to consider dropping those bans on U.S. alcohol sales.
Well, we certainly understand that that's an irritant, and it's the premiers, all the premiers and the Prime Minister gathered in Charlottetown, my hometown, Prince Edward Island, just a couple of weeks ago, and we had discussions about how the federal government is going to approach these negotiations, and our wish and what we conveyed to the Prime Minister was that everything should be on the table. We should try. This seems to be an opportunity to come to a comprehensive deal and try to put most of this behind us, if not all of it, and move forward. So those alcohol bans are certainly on the table, but we would like to know what we get in return.
Yeah, I think Premier Lance is right, like something in return. But here's the bigger issue. I don't know that Nova Scotians are going to just snap it off the shelves as soon as it goes back. Like, I mean, I think there's been certainly a longer term impact there. But I mean, in terms of when we would return it to the shelf to give the consumer that choice, it's when there's a reason. So something in return, and we haven't seen that yet.
That's all we have time for, so we'll follow up with any questions
Wait,
after.
let's take just one more.
For premiers, how are you guys handling tourism? I know that tourism has been an issue as a result of current Canada-U.S. relations. Are you both encouraging your residents to visit the U.S.? You've talked about a big partnership with our New England states, but are you encouraging tourism to the U.S.?
Probably trying to attract the tourism back into their
Yeah.
provinces. I will say, it seemed to be, we've gone through over a year of seeing the decline in our visitation from Canada. And we started to see a little bit of a thaw here of late, in the last month or so. And then, unfortunately, the president dropped the news about a new round of tariffs. And that immediately shut the stream of people from Canada coming to visit us down. So it's unfortunate. Again, I don't blame them for being angry. I don't blame them for what little retribution they've done. Took away the ability for us to sell our alcohol in their country. But that's a little price to pay. If it was reversed, if the Prime Minister was saying something about us, the way our president has been talking about them and referring to the 51st state and so forth and so on, we'd be mad too. We'd be angry. So I try and put myself in the shoes of others when I try and understand their frame of mind, and that's what I do. Like, I just put myself in their shoes and how would I feel? And I would be doing probably worse than they are.
Thank you.
Thank you.